This is for the woman who is still on the path of becoming. Let's be honest, your 40s will confront you with the life you've built, the choices you've made, and the ones you wish you had made sooner. My name is TD, and this is In Her 40s. Unleashing the Daniamite Experience on Base 101.1 FM, the radio show where we stop pretending and start telling ourselves the truth. Truth about love, marriage, divorce, and desire. About money and missed chances. Bodies changing, confidence rising, and learning to say no without guilt. These are real conversations for real women who are done shrinking and ready for clarity. In Her 40s with me, TD. Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on Base 101.1 FM.
Beautiful people, good evening. It's another beautiful Thursday evening. It's your girl TD, and once again, welcome to In Her 40s, Unleashing the Daniamite Experience. Today I have a special guest with me, Dr. Aisosa. Dr. Aisosa is our special guest for today's episode. Our topic today is we're going to be talking about the woman in the white coat, building authority in a field that wasn't built for you. Hello, Dr. Aisosa. Welcome. Let me just do a small intro so that my guests know who is with us today. My guest, Dr. Aisosa, like I said, is a doctor of pharmacy who became director of pharmacy at a pioneering facility, Lagos's first stroke and organ damage recovery rehabilitation center. She's a public health advocate who has reached over 1,000 beneficiaries through community health programs. She's a TEDx speaker, and she sits at the intersection of clinical pharmacy, public health, and digital health technology in ways that most professionals in any one of those fields never manage. She did all of this as a young woman in a field that is deeply hierarchical. God, I keep saying they sent me to school. And not known for making space quickly for young women who move fast. On this last Thursday of Women's Month, we're talking about what it actually takes to build authority in a system that was not built for you. Please welcome Dr. Aisosa Omoriyekemwen. Did I get that pronunciation properly?
Almost.
I tried small. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today? I know you're stuck in traffic. My people, once again, Lagos is Lagosing us. So my guest, unfortunately, is stuck in traffic. So we're doing this over the phone for now. Hopefully she'll meet us before we're done with the show. I'd say let's get right into it, if you don't mind. Are you good? Are you all right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Awesome. No problem. So I would ask, of all the things you could have done, why pharmacy? And was there a moment early on when you understood that this field was going to require more from you than it require from someone who looked different, I would say?
Yes, actually. So why pharmacy? I think right from when I was a young girl, which was the genuine passion for patient care, and then there was diligence. And so I've always been very wanted, and I think I understood that early on through medical school that when it comes to healthcare practice, mistakes are because this is patient lives we're talking about, right? And throughout my years of training, I've come to realize, especially during my industrial training, that I had a male colleague I was working with, but I realized that because, she's a female, she's expected to do better, to be given the same accolade as a male counterpart. But I think what shaped me more as I entered the field was deeply about patient care and patient outcomes. And doing my work well, that's not sufficient, that's not enough, right?
Oh, wow.
And entering the STEM, some of these things, I realized that being competent does not automatically recognize, especially as a young woman.
Interesting.
And so my humanity became more than just caring for patients. I also had to learn how to with that care and diligence, be visible. Visibility is very key.
Mm, mm. So it's
Very
not just doing the
important.
work. You also have to showcase yourself.
You have to be visible because there have been several times where I felt like really naturally I'm kind of person who believes that just do your work well. Doesn't care who sees it. Right? But experiences, I realized that that's not sufficient. You need to
Interesting.
be visible.
Interesting. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. And I think, to be honest, it's not particular to just your field. And I think that's where some of
Exactly.
us, yeah, are learning to adjust as well. Because, you know, you find some people who tell you, oh, I don't like showing myself, let my work just speak for me. But in this day and age, people need to see you. It's not just about the work anymore because the competition is stiff
Yeah.
and no one is going to just create a space for you. You have to create the space for yourself at the table. And
And sometimes the game is not even fair. So you
no, no,
need to
no.
actually put in the
No, 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 it's not. I think that will take me to my second question. Describe the landscape you entered. Like, what does seniority and authority look like in the Nigerian healthcare system? And where does a young woman fit in that picture? Like, when you just come into that industry.
Oh, okay. So, regarding that, I think right, it depends on your background and your
Okay.
major work ethic, right? Because currently now serving as director of pharmacy at the facility that I serve,
Okay.
because I think the person that was previously occupying the position was actually a very tall male, very big looking, and on the other hand, I'm quite smallish. So transitioning was a hell of a ride.
Hmm.
I won't say too much, but putting your foot down strongly for you to be given the regard or the respect that's supposed to be accorded to you
Yeah.
based off the position that you occupy. That I could carry responsibility at that level. Though I remember when I newly assumed the role, I had this colleague who met me and jokingly was just asking me, "Oh, like how are you able to get this position? How are you able to get this role?"
Why?
Trying to
Because
help
of
me
your
decipher
age
why.
or gender?
Yes, because of both
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Because I said the previous person that was there was a lot more elderly than I am.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Interesting.
I think and he asked what was your years of experience, and I think when I shared with him my years of experience, I think that put him on the okay. I think she she deserves a shot,
She
right?
qualifies.
And I think yes, exactly.
So, so from what you're saying, it goes back to your statement in the your earlier statement when you mentioned that you have to show yourself. So, in a situation where the odds are stacked against you, you have to be confident that you deserve to be there. You deserve to take up that position, and you are qualified, more than qualified, to be that person. Because once people sense any form of fear or doubt, they will take advantage of it. So if you are not
You got
convinced
it
that you
correct.
deserve to
You got
be
it
there,
correct.
yeah. So it just makes it even more, how they say it, even more important that you know who you are as a person and you know what you have to offer from a point of value. So that
Very
is not in doubt for you. Otherwise, nobody else will believe it. If you don't believe it for yourself, then it becomes even more difficult to expect other people to believe it or to even see you as that person who who occupies that role.
exactly.
Interesting. I
Your
love
point on that.
it. I love it. I always tell people, I say 2026 is my year of audacity. Like we'll try it. No matter what it is, we'll try it. We're stepping into those rooms.
And you realize that it does become it be just open for you,
Yes.
and you just find out that yes, people begin to give it or accord you that respect because they now see that you know what you're doing besides just the boldness or the audacity.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Oh no, no, no! I keep saying it. Oh, before you say audacity, make sure that you have substance, so that the audacity is just that next step.
Very, very key.
I, we don't encourage empty barrels here.
Very, very key, very important.
Very important because at the end of the days, no matter how confident you are, if you genuinely do not have value to offer, then it starts to show. It's just a matter of time. Those things, those gaps will be very obvious. You know the way they say there's some people that when you see them and you're like, oh, this person looks so put together, and then you interact with them and you're like, no, not really. They just look nicely packaged. And you don't want to be that.
I feel like, won't be worse off than if there was one of that. So for me, know your onion and then be audacious.
Exactly. I love it. Awesome. I love it. So I'll ask for you in this space, Lagos's first stroke and organ damage recovery rehabilitation facility. You were the director of pharmacy.
Yeah.
Walk me through what it took to get there and hold that role. Not our packaged version, like the real version. Like, how did you navigate yourself to that senior role and how you were able to also maintain that role?
Okay, so I think I see it not just as a moment, because when you say it like it sounds like a moment, like it just happened.
Yeah.
I see it as a cumulative experience of the different roles I've actually occupied.
Okay.
Companies I've actually worked with, right? Because this wasn't my first managerial role per se.
Okay.
Right? And so I think having a bit of experience, a background experience prior to this role, it was back to colleagues that I work with, right? Whether across the board or down the board or off the board, right? It took a lot of responsibility, it took a lot of showing up, because there were situations where I had to make decisions and then I had to justify them more than I should on a normal day-to-day basis. And this I mean now is both down the board, across the, and I don't think it was because the decisions themselves were wrong, but just because of who was making them.
Who was making the decisions? Yeah.
Who was making them, right? And so I realized that a part of it wasn't the whole facet of it, right?
Yes.
It made me see myself, and I had to be deliberate about how I communicated, like I said, across board, up, down, right?
Yes.
And also how I documented my work. And this is what I would also advise any other person across, whether regardless the sector that you're working in, right? Documentation is important, because it's easy to say it verbally that, oh, I did this, I did that, but if there's no proper documentation of it or record of it, it's assumed that nobody actually did it.
Interesting.
That's right. Yeah, so for me, when it comes to leadership across corporate sector, I think documentation of what you do, what you achieve for the company is very important.
It is.
And also, I think one thing that helped me too was how I position my decisions. I could be quite audacious. I remember, and I would say, let's do this, let's do that. And they would look at me. Are you sure? Are you sure? And I would reply back so much boldness and audacity, to the point that I think my general manager had to say, he was very bold. And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
So, right?
Yeah.
I think besides just showing up and doing your job, it has to be consistent.
True. I love that, because a lot of the times we forget that when the odds are stacked against us, we have to go over and above just doing our jobs, because you are now, it's almost like you're trying to prove double points, not just a point. So you have to do what maybe someone else who is not you would do, because of maybe your age or your gender. So now you're proving a point. So even if you're just a fine girl, sometimes they'll just be like, this one, are you sure she really knows? Or she just here? Because I've realized that a lot of the time, if you're the kind of woman who likes to look good, people can sometimes assume that that's all you are about. So, yeah.
You are very aware, because I am that kind of woman. So
Exactly.
Initially when I came, right?
Yes.
Most people even say, Aisha should not just flash and no substance, right? Actually, till I actually settled in and did my bits.
Yeah, I love it. I love being underestimated, because I feel like it's almost like a shut up. I don't even have to talk. don't worry, just give me time, and you see that this person is not just, is, as I say, the more you look, the less you see. No, no, no. This one, the more you look, the more you see. I love it. I love it because it's such a beautiful contradiction. I would ask now from more of an emotionally point of view, I'll say emotionally, mentally, sometimes even physically. What does it cost to be the person who constantly has to prove what others are assumed to possess? So you have to overprove yourself.
Yes, well, I think there are some scenarios that happen that when I feel like I'm trying to make you understand that what you're doing right now is being biased and from a certain angle, right? The question I ask most times is,
Sorry, what? The question?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I said it, so what when I ask questions so I don't become combative, right? I just ask it very direction. I would say, if it was a male that was in this position right now that was speaking to you, would this be your exact reaction? And so when I ask that, it's naturally just disarms them, and then they realize that, oh,
Maybe they were
it
being a
possibly
bit
gone over.
biased.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. But doesn't that now take a toll sometimes? Because to be honest, as much as we do what we have to do, at the end of the day, sometimes you get home, it can, let me almost say, it can be draining sometimes, because it's almost like your guard is up all the time and you're overthinking things without realizing it or without even noticing. Does that happen sometimes, or is that?
Yes, it happened a lot of times, especially like I said, when I really came in, right? I feel like now it has settled because people have now seen that, oh, there's really substance here, right? But in the beginning, it was a lot for me, right? There are days I would go back home, I would be so emotionally drained. I would second ourselves, start asking yourself, like,
What's going on?
are you sure this is it, right? Yes.
Yes.
But then, one thing about me is that I like challenges, especially if I feel like I know what exactly is right in that situation, right? So I is to navigate it. I look for ways to, what's the word, live through it. But then I still try to not silence my own voice or dim it just because I want to be, what's the word, acknowledged or accepted or regarded or respected. Strategic, and you have to be diplomatic. And I think this goes across all sectors besides just healthcare, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in a position where it feels like you are female, you're young, or in a room where normally it's not enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then less emotional reaction because this is corporate. This is not our private banter with our girls or gist or
Yes.
whatnot, right? It's less emotional reaction.
It's true. Because you find that, at the end of the day, sometimes how you even, because the question I was going to ask was, how do you walk into a room where your authority is questioned even before you speak and you're able to command it anyway? So what has worked and what has not worked based on your experience?
So I think first, right? So now before you walk in your room, right, people have already made an impression of you.
Yes.
That impression, when you speak, they are either waiting for you to validate, right? And so this is where it comes for you as a leader, as a female, you need to be more intentional about your enter rooms. And I don't mean speaking emotionally, possibly maybe when there are issues, or you need to pass on the point and feeling like possibly people know, you're not blessed reactions. So one thing I know for free is that you need to learn to speak, or for yourself, speak for the work that you do. Speak early. Timeliness is all very important, right?
Yeah.
And so you realize that established even before the assumptions settle in.
Yeah.
And so you also need to stop over explaining.
Oh, yes.
Stop over explaining. This is not, this is not a private matter. It's not a family matter. This is corporate. I love the corporate.
I love it.
Stop over explaining.
Absolutely.
Just like that, the more clarity with which you speak, right, it carries more authority. People begin to see you in that authority that you carry.
Yeah.
And I think also over time I've understood that commanding the room is not just about dominating the room, actually. It's about consistently positioning yourself in a way that makes it difficult for people to actually ignore your contribution.
True. Very true. You know the way they say sometimes some people might not like you, but they will be forced to respect you.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I always tell people I'd rather be respected than liked. Because at the end of the day, you can just like me for frivolous reasons. But when you respect me, it's usually based off of substance, usually based off of maybe the value that I bring, so to speak. And I think for, especially when you find yourself in a position of authority, you have to command that respect. Nobody's going to just give it to you. You have to sort of take charge and own it. And that just gives you that additional edge, so to speak. I love it. It's very interesting. So I would ask, from your point of view, is there anything or is there something women do in professional settings in trying to navigate these systems that sometimes makes it harder for themselves? Maybe something you had to unlearn or something that you might have observed just generally, might not even be just particular to your industry, but just women in corporate environments or professional settings.
Okay, and I think first of all, right, one major key thing, like I said, we might not even understand the depth or the kind of damage it can do is emotional.
Yes,
emotional outbursts.
Okay.
Emotional reaction. Yes.
Absolutely.
I feel like, and I think that's one thing that I feel like sometimes we do unconsciously. So even if things are not going the way you think they should go, right? Emotional reactions, emotional outbursts, before you emotionally react to that situation, to that task, to that your emotions for a minute, pause.
Yeah.
Think on it before you actually react or speak. And sometimes do you realize that some women who possibly have had what's the word? Good reported, and then maybe there comes a situation where for some reason they just lost it for a minute. You would realize that it's just a minute they lost it for. But that would go along with actually dilute.
Yes.
Dilute their presence.
Absolutely. I totally get what you mean. And because sometimes we don't realize that reaction, that 1 minute reaction changes a lot. Yes, it does a lot of damage. And because naturally they already look at us females as being emotional. So imagine now having a moment in the office.
Yes, the more they slowly eat at your respect or reputation.
Absolutely.
So do the opposite.
I love it. Fantastic. That's so beautiful. Now I'll switch gears slightly a little bit. I want to ask about your speaking at TEDx. This speaking at TEDx is a deliberate choice to be visible, to stand on a stage and claim the right to be heard. So I would ask, why did you do it? And what does visibility mean for a woman building authority in a field like healthcare?
I think, like I said, right, besides just the way you show up to work, the way you speak matters, right? I think a woman should actually give attention to it, learn, read books, study, research, because the more in the room you will be. So generally, I just think it depends on research, growth, intentionality.
Absolutely. I love that. I remember here there was a saying, I can't remember, it was a quote or something, that someone said that for you to teach, you have to learn. So the more you teach people, the more you also have to learn in order to be able to teach it in a way that people would get. So I guess that's something that... Hello? Are you still with us?
Yes, please.
So I was saying that based on your response, I was saying that, oh yeah, that's fantastic, because I've heard that the best teachers, teachers have to learn more in order to be able to teach. So being on a stage like that, I can imagine that you would have to have researched your topic thoroughly so that you can speak on that topic and sort of own the stage, which will now bring me to my next question, to say, what did standing on that stage with a room full of over 100 people teach you about your own voice and authority? Hello?
Well, sorry, apologies.
No problem.
Yeah, I think about being seen actually, right? Because once you realize along your journey, regardless what it is, it's that you're doing meaningful work. I think one need to realize that in themselves.
Okay, okay.
Comfortable, but it's actually needed.
I think we're losing you. I'm not sure the network is really bad, but we're losing you. Hello?
Yes, just a minute, please.
Okay. Hello? Have we lost you? So, hello, my people. Like I said, we're speaking with Dr. Aisosa. We're just having slight network challenges, but I'm sure she'll be back in a minute. So far, we've been talking about what it means to be in a male dominated field, especially as a young woman and occupying a position of authority in the healthcare segment. And she's been talking us through her experience and how she's been able to take up space and pretty much showcase her own value without necessarily over explaining herself or seeking permission to just be who she was. And like we always say, we should be at the very least our own biggest cheerleaders. If you don't believe in the value that you offer, then it's harder to convince other people to believe in the value that you offer. If you don't believe in yourself as an individual, as a professional, regardless of what field you might be operating in, then it becomes even more difficult for people to believe that of you, or for people to see you as that person. And this is something that a lot of people might struggle with. Sometimes it might be in the field that you already are in, or sometimes it's when you're pivoting in your career. So maybe you used to be in a particular field and you're switching fields, or you're starting a business in a field completely different from your 9 to 5 career, so to speak. You have to reintroduce yourself in that space, and you have to take up space as that version of yourself. So for example, is if I was a doctor and then now I'm trying to start business selling maybe makeup, I have to convince people that I also know about makeup for me to be a successful business person. I can't just say, oh, because I have family and friends, I'm selling makeup, or come and buy from me. The question is, why you? So imagine now not being confident of who you are and the value that you bring. It makes it even more difficult for other people to see that value in you. But I think the conversation will resume in a minute. But so far, it's been interesting for me. I think just seeing how I personally love when women know who they are. And I love when women are unapologetic about it. I love it when they don't ask anybody permission to just be. And the way sometimes it might seem like, oh, she advanced so quickly in her career. How is she an oga at this age? Or how is she, a senior management position at this age, this small girl? And sometimes that might mean that, of course, you have to prove yourself more than other people. And that might also mean that, if anything, you have to know your job even better, because people would initially question you. Sometimes they'll judge you even before they've had the opportunity to interact with you. You know the way, especially in this day and age, imagine them announcing, oh, so person is going to be joining us as head of this. Some people have already gone to Google you, they've seen your pictures, and they're like, are you sure this is the person that is going to come and be our Oga? Are you sure this is the person who is going to head this department? Are you sure they know what it is that they are going to deliver, or what they are offering, and those kind of things? But at the end of the day, I guess that gives you the advantage to continue to be. So my guest just walked in. Finally, Lagos traffic has released her. So grateful to have you here. Hi. Hello. How you doing? No, you can speak into the mic now. So I'm glad she's here. Yeah. Just continuing from our conversation. So I was just pretty much talking about females in, male-dominated field, and people that, and owning your space, taking up space where you are, regardless of what anybody else thinks. And I love it. I always love those kind of things because it makes me excited. Yes, it makes me excited. So I would ask, clinical pharmacy, public health, digital health technology, most people pick one lane and go deep. You built breadth across three. Was that a deliberate strategy or did it just sort of follow you? I like it. Bite it, bite it. We'll be chewing it small, small.
I think sometimes like to. I'm always a wide kind of person. I'm a very curious kind of person, right?
Okay.
And I'm also a data listening something. What can we do, right? And I think also practicing in healthcare, realize that we have some problems, right, with our system, and so sometimes it just makes you brainstorm and say, we should move,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't just a random discussion, it was something that was intentional, right? I would consider, first of all, when I mentioned different things, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think I would say clinical pharmacy actually gave me the experience. I
Okay.
wise, also the know-how, right? Something like I have deep passion for, right? But then I feel like public health gave me skill, like a larger skill, right? And also realizing that I was also thinking, even with the larger scale, right, more people still don't have access to the healthcare.
True.
So that's where the digital space comes in, where you're trying to marry it all together to ensure that people actually have good access to healthcare. So we realize when you bring that is one key, right, when it comes to healthcare, time is expensive.
True.
The
True.
hospital medical center I work for it will be the faster you do something will actually save
Say true.
Lagos is overpopulated.
Mm.
Lagos is overpopulated. And I think that's also the reason why I feel like Nigerians have used the medical system where you see even pharmacists prescribing like doctors just
Yeah.
because people think that it's easy to access. They don't have to go and wait to queue in line in the hospital.
Hospital.
Then
True.
those to just come and finish.
Yeah. And process.
So it's my sector, so I'm just going to cover it and just say, okay, well, perfect, well, good, right? Well, that's where the intersection comes in, right? Where you're looking for an easier way to get something done, to get better results. And so that is where my
Digital.
yes, the mythicals together. And so that's where I'm also building Medvance NG, where the major focus is to actually make healthcare accessible and also affordable. Because
So I can go there and just maybe say what my symptoms are.
They
and-
just need to send a text, make a call, and then you could just say what your symptoms are, right? It could guide you through, possibly ask some questions, know what it is exactly, your medical history, and then see what interventions we can actually do for you. And then besides that, if you're also looking to maybe source rare medications that you could not easily get access to, you could help you get that, right? Because of the comfort of your own, like you don't have to do too much, you don't have to go out there.
Awesome. I love it.
So it's easy, right? And then I also feel it helps the issue of privacy too, because
True.
people will also like privacy when it comes to their own healthcare.
True.
Just feel like,
I agree.
how would it feel if I just go to it? Sometimes these places are very public, and then you see some people see. When you're practicing, you realize that people sometimes could be a bit very private.
Yeah, when it comes to yes.
Is that sensitivity, right? So this is what it also helps that to give you that enclosure. We have to then feel safe, to not have to feel anxious or worried or afraid, right? And you still get standard. You come all for it should be standard. It should be done now.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
Because little things you think your dream might not seem so significant to you. You could possibly already be maybe worn out, constantly practicing, you're exhausted and tired. Yes.
True. True.
Especially in this part of Nigeria where it feels like those eco professionals are actually underpaid and not paid well. They experience burnout, and then sometimes that burnout we see as should I say complacency or laxity?
True. True.
For
True.
life spirit. And it's one thing I try so hard to fight against, because I believe that even if you're tired, even if you're exhausted,
Unfortunately, your job is people's
and
lives.
this is somebody's left right now, regardless of your
Yeah.
tiredness. It's
Yeah.
dependent on you making the right call.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I think at the end of the day, it's important to make a difference because that's the only way we progress. You know, when you think through, okay, what's working, what's not working, what can I do to at least
make it better,
make it better or
And the
improve
more you
what's-
complain that, oh, the system is bad, this is damaged,
you're realizing that in your own way, you're adding to the decay of the system.
Yes, yes. Because they're just complaining.
Exactly. Completely.
You have to take action. Sometimes it takes
Doing your own bits well.
exactly.
Yeah,
At least do your bits.
Yes.
You can hold the system accountable. True. I love it. So for the woman in the audience who is also sitting at maybe intersections, who does not fit clearly into one category, what do you say to her about how to use that rather than apologize for it?
Oh, I'm a very unapologetic person. Right. As long as you know what you're doing, right. You can see the vision, even if currently right now, where you're currently at doesn't look like it. I will tell you for free, go for
it.
so go for it. Ignore the what ifs, ignore the naysayers. Like I will say, do your plus and minuses, ensure that what you need, you have it, right? Or even if you don't have what you need fully in that moment, take a step. I'm all for, I don't like regrets, so I don't believe in regrets. I think the thing is that I feel like going forward, I won't have regret that what if I had done, what if I had not done, right? So I believe every man should live a life for audacious in what she can achieve, regardless of her background, regardless of what society says, right? As long as you know this is what you want to do it. And besides, you have just one life to live.
Absolutely.
For yourself.
Absolutely.
Leave yourself that. The younger you, right, will be proud of you. And even the older you will be proud that you took those steps. Rather than you get a certain
regretting and saying, I wish I had. Yeah.
Sometimes if you're not careful, that's where comparison comes in. And then you can see people that. So I think yesterday or this morning I read something online. I don't know it was Instagram, right? I read it. Why somebody said that the reason people are envious is not necessarily because they are doing bad in themselves. Sometimes they see their own inabilities and failures in somebody else.
Yes.
So you're seeing that this thing that this person is doing, I could have actually have done, but they did not take the step to do it.
Yes.
And so because they did not take that step to do it, for some reason they just don't like you who was
to do it. Absolutely.
Opinion of that. Don't even look at other people. Just
face your frontal.
Do you get? For me, I believe comparison is between my previous self and my future self. And even the current self right now.
Absolutely.
So, right. So if I think I can be better at something, as long as it's achievable.
Yeah.
But yes, it might look like the other to me right now. Look as achievable. Look like somebody that's as possibly even hinted that this is possible. Let's do it.
I always tell people that I might end up not even liking that thing.
In the end,
but let me try and say I tried.
It
It might not work out the way I thought in my head, but the reality is I would rather make those mistakes than to have the regret of not trying. And I feel like sometimes for certain personalities, so some people have your kind of personality. Once I want to do something, I go for it. But there are people that live with a lot of self-doubt and fear, and sometimes maybe even seek opinions. In the process of seeking opinions, you get other people's views. And more often than not, I keep saying that as long as it's not their dream or their vision, they can never really see it from your point of view, especially when you're trying to do something that has not been done.
And so this is my advice to any young person, right, or an elderly person, is this, right? I believe so much that there's wisdom in the counsel, right? The counsel, right? I also believe so much in trusting in yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
One thing I know for free is that sometimes we're all humans in ourselves, we don't absolutely perfect, right?
Yeah.
Person you look up to could encourage you. Sometimes it could also be the reason why you take a step back and just withdraw and just recline.
Yeah.
Maybe because they were not absolutely convinced or committing of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. Let me use for example. I think when I started saying on my advanced entry, right, people that actually believe me. They're like, oh, okay, it's a good thing. There was also some elderly women that look up to that I consider them mentors. Right.
Yeah.
Everyone told me, oh well, you see all these tech things, I'm not really used to it. I think I'll just stick with
the traditional way. Yes.
And funny enough, I still love art now. I still respect it absolutely, right? But I learned how to what's the word? Should I use the word see? What see through counsels, right? Know what it is.
It's okay to seek people's opinion, but you still have to Yes. Be the final decider.
Because in the very end, it's still your life, it's still your decisions, and
Absolutely.
your call.
Absolutely.
Right. Because I think
Absolutely.
sometimes people also hide behind those counsels of people to also
To
have
not
not already
do.
accountability and not do it for
Yes.
themselves.
Yes.
So you now realize that over time, people would even have regrets of should not have listened to that person. I should have just
Exactly.
Because now look at what person will do. Somebody is doing it and
Maybe 5 years down the line. And in your head, you're like, so you mean I could have started this 5 years
and
ago?
possibly the person
I would have been the pioneer.
Exactly. I'm not even even supposed to was even really being a nice person. But
No, more often than not, they're not being cruel. They are just using their understanding
their own
of
experience,
life.
perception, right? Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you find that at the end of the day, with everything that we go through in life, we're all coming from different backgrounds, different experiences, outlook to life, beliefs, and whatnot, and those things shape us. So whoever you're seeking counsel for, first of all, I would assume that it's somebody you respect, somebody you trust, and someone who you feel has your best interest at heart. But in all fairness, they cannot necessarily see it from your lens.
All the time.
So you have to be even more convinced of whatever that idea is.
You are bringing it.
The more radical, the more convinced you have to be.
Because sometimes even in the beginning, they might not support you for the what they see that you're getting at it and looking like there's light.
And you're keeping at it. Absolutely. Yep.
The ovation you wanted, the applause, the acknowledgement.
More often than not, because people sometimes want to be sure that you are sure
of what you're doing.
So it's like saying starting a business and you're looking for investors. A lot of the times you don't get startup investors. You've invested your own blood, money, sweat, time. Then they can now say, okay, this person has been at it for the past 1 year. How can we come in?
Bring less discourse.
Exactly. Because they need to be sure. Because in all fairness, you can't blame them. Because a lot of people have fantastic ideas, but when the going gets rough, they can't stay through with it. Some people are starters. They are not your day-to-day working. Yes, they have the idea, they have everything, but then they have to hand it over to someone who's now going to execute that idea.
Fair.
So knowing that difference is also very key, because sometimes ideas, people don't like processes. We don't want to be boggled with the day-to-day of how it's done. I have the idea, I have the concept. Somebody else should build it.
Soft founder, soft builder.
Exactly. So a lot of the times we don't understand when people sometimes say no. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means that prove me wrong. Yeah. Prove me wrong. Let me be sure that you know what it is you're doing.
Get more facts, right?
Exactly. Do your research. Absolutely. Because I tell people that sometimes doubt, fear, it's just caution. It's not necessarily a red stop sign. It's just saying that, are you sure of this thing? Have you dotted your I's and crossed your T's? Because there's no business that you would do that will not come with its own challenges. Even if you are following a road already frequently traveled, you would still
also feel like these people that will possibly even look at us something can even see some of our maybe lapses that would not able to know. So I feel like the people that can come to me now tell me, oh, they have ideas. I know for free these are starters, these are startup kind of founders. Until as much as something through our perseverance. Because when it comes to building something that will really stand, right, you need perseverance, you need
absolutely
100% sure there's no doubt. Even when there is doubt, I'm not going to lean into that doubt. I'm going to lean to the fact that it's very possible, right? So but people have this energy. Outside Adrenaline Rush, right? It can give you fantastic, beautiful ideas. You think of the millions of all billions you want to make right now, right? Well, let it go and get Cody.
let life hit you small.
It's not realizing that these people are. I'm
not sure. Imagine, see this scenario that we're in now with petrol price at 1.4. Imagine if you just started a business and you're heavily reliant on
the previous price.
Exactly. How do you do those numbers? You start to struggle, you start to maybe panic and all those kind of stuff. So life is about changes. For example, I'll tell you now, we had a guest that was supposed to show up today. Unfortunately, there was a challenge in communication. So she thought it was another date, not today. So yesterday when I posted her, she just called me. She was like, Tokwe, is it tomorrow? I said, yeah. She said, no. Have April something. I was like, oh my God, So started scrambling last minute. That's why it was late before we reached out to you. Scrambling last minute. Okay, what are we going to do? I was already telling my partner, look, what's plan B? If we don't get any guests at all, if I'm speaking by myself, what are we going to be talking about? Like, let's not, because for me I like to have my backup plan so that I don't panic. Otherwise, I'll be in an unproductive state because then I'm thinking I'm flustered. But if I already have a worst case scenario plan, my mind is at rest because I know that, okay, worst case scenario is we don't get any guest. Then what do we do? If I have that plan in place, I'm not panicking. And I think that those things also come from experience because as you're growing, you're also learning maybe more about yourself and how to handle things. And I think that's what being in a position of authority teaches you. Like, I have a friend who keeps saying that there are different versions of you. For every level you get to, there's a new version of you that you have to re-know, re-like. And a lot of the times is when life happens that you learn more about yourself.
And then you see.
That you see what you're capable of.
Sometimes you could be in prison and you could be shocked and say,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like something happening to you and your mind, you're like, I thought I'd grown from this thing.
I thought I could not.
Yes.
I think the more the older we grow, the more I realize never say never.
Absolutely. I love it. I'll say, I was going to, my final question, you sort of answered it, because what I was saying, my question was going to be for the woman who is listening, who is the only woman in the room, or the youngest, or maybe sometimes even the flyest, but sometimes it works against you. When you're that fly baby, you'll be like, what's that? What's that? I won't say.
Oh my
Every time always looking nice, hair on point, nails on point, and your mind, you're like, did I say you should not dress up, please?
My God.
Please.
No comment.
Exactly. Like, so what do you say to that kind of woman who
This is why personal will continue.
No, because see, I can relate, and that's why maybe for me it's so, and that's why I keep saying, regardless of what industry you are in, there's certain things that just by being you, some people don't like you when you walk into a room, automatically.
Just by you existing,
yes,
in your own lane.
Yeah.
Like I could tell the person that I mind my business a lot. If you see me thinking, I'm thinking about what was the next thing I should do. Should you get my point? But for someone else, that's not what you're able to have an impression. And like I said, okay, I feel like at this point, at a certain age that you grow to, you just stop chasing people's opinion. Who's like what is like. I just believe do right by people, do well, do good, do your work, right? If someone else for whatsoever reason, their personal biases, their own perception, their own insecurities do not like you, it's okay as long as you did it right.
Yeah.
You do right.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your knowledge and your experiences. I'm sure the audience got a lot from this. It was a fantastic chat having you here. Don't see, that's why they say you have to be flexible. Keep adjusting. So thank you so much. It was fantastic having you on the show. To my audience, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again same time next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.